Hey guys, how's it going? What's happening? Oh, this is weird. I don't know if I like this. Okay, so I guess I'm live. Cool. And it's only me and the camera and a chat box. Okay. Well, that's nice. Um, so what are we at? 9:39 on the 20th of March 2018. First day of spring tomorrow. Cool. Um, so what's happening? What's changing? Or what's been new anyways? Could have took advantage tonight. Like last night, I had a little bit of fun. Went into Stranded Deep, got about like I don't know what 19 views or something like that. So I certainly keep an eye. I know who my base are. That's for certain. I'm actually looking forward to tomorrow. So that's good. It's definitely a good thing. Now I did find out something real quick here, and I don't think you can see the screen because you probably only see my ugly face, which is probably the way it's looking. I'm over on yeah. Say I tried this different option. I was going to do a live stream, and then I realized that the um, the session I had set up just basically renamed or rescheduled over on Run 8 servers. So I was wondering why nobody had signed up, but I was kind of not concerned, but I was like, it's kind of strange. So I've just removed all the previous users. If you haven't signed up already, go ahead and sign up for it. I'd certainly prefer it. It is for tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Of course, the dogs have started upstairs the moment I start to go. But that's at this time of night, anyways, which I usually like to do a live stream. They start. Oh, cool! I got a thumbs up for that. Oh, thank you. That's cute. What is that? I got a thumbs up, but nobody's watching. I got like little icons here telling me everything. That is like, that's goofy. But nobody's in chat. You guys can chat with me. I don't care. Okay, so one person's watching. I don't understand. Okay, so this is I've seen. Shut up, Jesus! I'm supposed to have living in the basement. They're like these stupid dogs behind me. Except they don't like run around like idiots playing with toys. They actually hunt for meat. Okay. Enough of that. So anyways, I run on Run 8 servers right now. I just deleted all the, I think there's 3 people that signed up before. We had 6 people back on Sunday. And what I will do, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go into my Wikia, which you probably don't see because you probably, like I said, you probably just see my ugly face. So, yeah, I'm just going to post just a quick message here. Mm-hmm. Wow. I wonder if you guys can hear all that. Give me a minute. So I reset the sign up for tomorrow night, starting at 6 p.m. Okay. All right. So I just posted a quick message over at Railroad Transportation Simulator.wikia.com. It is in there now. Great. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's not showing up on the microphone, but it is. Okay. Okay. Enough of the freaking dogs. I was going to concentrate something. It's kind of weird just seeing my face, and then I go to do something, and it's like, no, I can't even know I'm looking at my stupid face. And an empty chat box, and these goofy little icons that says I'm live. So that's cool. So what what's interesting and what's going on. Um, there was I actually enjoyed myself Sunday, and I actually looking forward to Wednesday tomorrow as well. Had a weird day today. Like I said, I slept fine. Work was had its moments. I mean, a truck ran into me. That was really cool. That was okay. I mean, a little dent on the vehicle at work. What had nothing to do with me. Just I'm standing at customs, and then we're sitting at customs, and I have my paperwork ready, and all of a sudden I feel a bump on my rear end. I'm like, 18 wheeler decides to come into me. I've never hit by an 18 wheeler before. I mean, he was just rolling into me. I felt it. My load, nothing, none of the cargo got damaged, but I mean, the vehicle looked fine. As far as I could tell, it was a little bit of a dent. I didn't take it down any information, which was bad. I felt bad about it, but I was kind of shooken up by it. So, yeah, they weren't too pleased about that, to say the least. But other than that, so a lot of people were telling me, like, no, it's like it's gonna cost $500 just to replace a stupid bumper, and there was like a little tiny dent in it, and the vehicle's not even worth that much to begin with, or I don't know, something like that. But whatever. So, but that was today. So that was my day today, and that kind of wore on me for a little bit. So maybe that's tired me out or something. I don't know. Um, so what's happening with tomorrow? I don't know. Unfortunately, I just found out because what happens with Reddit servers is I went into the previous session, I edited it, I changed the date, but I didn't create a new session or something. I guess that's how it works, or maybe I have to create a template or something because I like using it. It's just it's kind of I was using it before actually with the Selkirk project, and what it gets kind of finicky because basically I'm repeating the same information for the most part, and man, I can't concentrate with them. They just won't shut the hell up. And it's always, I swear, it's always when I'm trying to think. I sleep fine. They shut up when I sleep. They shut up most of the other time. But anyways, I need a place of my own. I can't afford nothing. But anyways, that's half of the issues I have right now. Sorry, I can't concentrate with them going on. I used to have a dog. I used to play. I didn't. Yeah, I don't know. Just bringing dogs to apartments with other people living is such. I mean, it's like, oh, yeah, you got to be kind to the animals and all that other stuff. And what about the people that have to live and put up with that crap? You know what I mean? It's not right. Anyways, I'll try to get the dogs out of my mind since they're right above me here. And I'm just hearing them playing and having fun and doing whatever dogs do at 9:47 p.m. at night. Whatever. But so yeah, getting back to the whole thing. Um, Somebody had mentioned before about interest in dispatching, which I'm totally open to having somebody else dispatch. So this is why I encourage people to sign up for these sessions in advance. Just go to Reddit servers, post your interest. I don't want to put the thing is I don't want to put actual jobs in there because what I find happened a lot of times, either with Selkirk Project or other times I've done this. I don't know if I did one before with Selkirk, before Selkirk Project, or others. When I put a particular job as an assignment, if somebody really likes that job, well, of course they're going to bid for it. And if they're the first one there, first come, first serve, well, they're always going to get it. I don't want to have a first come, first serve thing going on because a lot of times Somebody might be a little bit quicker or check in into something more often or be excited about it, and they're going to get what they want every time. What I want to do is I want to be able to see what people's interests are and then make a decision as to how it's going to go. So I dispatched last session, which was fine. I can dispatch again. I have no problem. And in fact, I'm prepared to dispatch every session moving forward, as well as do other things. I finished some of the local runs last time. Oh, for God's sake, shut up. I don't know why I did this live stream. I'm glad I'm getting thumbs up. That's cute. I don't know. But yeah, so having it all, it's just like nonstop. I don't know what the frick they're barking at. I guess they're playing. Wear them out before bed, I guess. I don't know what the hell they're doing. Nice people, actually. I get along with them fine. It's just their dogs are fucking annoying. Excuse my language, but yeah. Canadian dogs aren't as considerate as Canadians, apparently. I don't know about Canadians. Don't kid yourself. Might hear good things about Canadians, but I don't buy it. I think Canadians are getting more stuck up, quite frankly, or entitled or whatever. The world's becoming very much the same. Wow. You never know. Like some nights I hear a little bit, other nights it's just like, and there's more than one, of course. So it's just a smorgasbord of crap. Anyways, I'm trying to focus. I really am. It's hard to focus when I don't have anything on the screen but my ugly face. So let me just go into something else here besides my ugly face, and I will try to focus. So what was I saying? Yes, what was I saying? Oh, for God's sakes. This is horrible. Hold on a second here. I'm just looking in to see if there's anything in the forum. I can't find what I was looking for, or even got my train of thought. I didn't have any notes. I was just going to wing it, and usually I'm fine with winging it. But then something like that. See, now it's quiet. I ain't gonna last. I know that. Wishful thinking. Okay. So what helps me is once people sign up, then I get an idea of what it is I'm going to do. If I see somebody who's interested in dispatching, then I might say, okay, well, this is what I'm probably going to do for the night. Ideally, what I want to get is people that number one, I can get an idea. I think we had 6 people on, so that was pretty cool. That was actually a few more than I expected, and I think we had myself included 4 signups. So what happened is, so you have that many signups. What ends up happening is with six people on, what a few of them are going to do, and there's always going to be the last minute people who just decide, well, hey, I'm going to come in, and that's great. And some of them don't know what they want, so that's why I kind of leave the preferences in there so that I get an idea of what people are interested in doing, and then I can kind of, how would you say? So If I see more people start showing interest in running locals, that's when I may start introducing them more often. Right now, the plan is we're at midnight, so tomorrow is going to be basically an overnight. I don't think you'll even see the sun by 0400. They're 4 hour session. 4 hour sessions is typically what I'm going to be running. Typically, I'm going to run from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. At least that's how I'm going for it right now. Right now, I'm going to try Sundays and Wednesdays, see how it goes. I could go to 11. Generally, I go to bed at about 11:15, but I thought, yeah, it'd be pretty nice to do that. If you were running a train and you want to continue a train, basically, and you were there at the end, by all means, you can continue the train. That train should be there right where I basically ended the session, or right where I saved it. It should be right around that particular area. I will, I will launch the server about maybe 5 minutes coming in. Everything will be there. Then you can continue if you want, or you can run something else. I don't mind spawning in trains, but put it to you this way: 4 hours, you're not going to get through the entire system. So ideally, there's a lot of trains that can be taken. There's a lot of trains that are out on the line. I was thinking of doing a screenshot of the dispatcher board, and maybe let's just move the table a little bit here. So there's a dispatcher board. I can probably put a screenshot the night prior, or sorry, the night after. Like once that session's done, because it'll be 10 p.m. That'll give me time to actually go in, get a screen capture of how things look. I don't know if I can do a screen capture from F3. I haven't tried that. I'll have to see. If I can, the only thing it's going to show you is my dispatcher screen, or I can go back somehow and just basically take a look at the live stream video and post a screenshot so that people know where the trains are, in case they're interested, or they can see what the traffic pattern looks like and might be interesting to them. There's no prediction as far as what trains are going to be called, because the random gumball machine decides what it's going to spit out, and that's it. So that's all there is to it. Where does it go from here moving forward? If it keeps on going, and here's the thing: if it's people that just want to run trains, it's probably not going to go much further. It's just going to keep on continuing at this pace. I'll be fine with that. If there's more people that want to run locals, I think I've alluded to this, is that I'll start looking at opening up Bakersfield again for locals, specifically the UP yards, not the BNSF side. I'm going to stick with UP first. So I would do UP, open up the SJVR. You'd have the Edison local. You'd have all the SJVR locals running out of UP Bakersfield, and there would be a supply train. That will at least triple the capacity of switching. Now, in order for me to do that, I have to feel confident enough that either, number one, I can do it myself, which I don't think I can in a 24-hour period, or at least if I could do it, perhaps not do it daily. So what I mean by that is, if it was to happen, then I may have to not switch daily and alternate, or do a little bit at night, or something like that, something altered, or basically run off of demand. If I see altered demand where sometimes people want to run locals, thing is, I don't want to just run locals all the time myself either. So I'm looking to see what other people are into. This is, again, where the signups are important. Now, it's my fault that I was in there and I had it set up for that Run 8 servers, and unfortunately, I was wondering why I wasn't getting any responses. But then again, it's a second session. Who knows? Maybe because it's a weeknight. I know some people prefer the weekend sessions than the weeknight sessions, so I try to keep it early enough. Um, you can't please everybody, unfortunately. The other thing that might be an option, and I spoke to Ski about this a little bit when we had a conversation. The one thing, see, now I'm thinking clearly now because everybody's shut up upstairs. Um, the the thing I was thinking about doing was a concept that I had before a few years back, early on in RTS, where I actually shared save files. This was done in early version one. It was done in early, I believe, before 24. Yeah, it had been done before 24/7, where we tried to network a bunch of people and host on various servers. It didn't last very long. It didn't really take off. But what the idea behind that is if other people have particular times that they like to run, and I can find people who are somewhat dependable, who want to do this. Put it this way, I got to look myself in the mirror and ask myself, am I dependable enough to do this? Because right now, I mean, I'm entering a phase where things are changing for me. I have to make changes in my life, as far as finances, as far as outdoor activity. That's all changing come the spring. And we're here. I mean, spring starts tomorrow, so I mean, it's not going to really affect me during the weeknights, and the weekends doesn't matter anyways. But the point I'm trying to get at is, I do want to be a leader in this again and try to lead the force, um, to be able to do this. So that's something to consider if you're interested in that. Now, I don't want to get into what we had before, at least not at the forefront, anyways. What the old network system that we had before, with the exception of Smiley, who still runs a server occasionally for um, the Northeast. He has what is considered an RTS server that he will put up and on. He's an admin at RTS. Our admin really is dwindled to a skeleton crew from what it once was. And what happened was we had a California server, we had a Florida server. My interest started varying. I started looking into other things. I couldn't really find any traction or any interest because I didn't like the direction of where Run 8 is going. I'm still not 100% convinced of the direction where Run 8 is going. I'm somewhat optimistic, or cautionally pessimistic. I don't know if you want to say I'm kind of borderline. Here's the thing, okay? Um, version 3 is going to be an interesting one because they're talking about version 3 at the end of the year. We've seen somewhat in updates. It is version 2 made so many things possible. Unfortunately, it didn't lead up to all the potential I thought it could be. And what I mean by that is we had the RTS software, worked great. And the cool thing was, even with the change of the XML file, I could have modified the RTS software to adapt to it. And a lot of people wanted me to do that, especially some of what I would call the former legacy servers for California and Florida, which are now the Southwest and Southeast servers, who are still 24/7. They're more switching operations based. And that's where the distinction, where I wanted to come in. I looked at it as I didn't want to run a shell of an operation. At the same time, we're not running the full capacity of the route. Sorry, we're not running every single route or every single section of California. I've isolated a section. I was doing the same thing with Florida. And Selkirk, I never really got any traction going with that, to my liking anyways. So, you're dealing with basically 3 routes, limited spawn points, trying to find, you know, a nice happy balance, and then lo and behold, here was all along there was California and the original Bakersfield project, which I had about a year ago, and I went back to it, and lo and behold, I was like, okay, well, if I focus on Bakersfield, like I said, that's double the amount of switching. But then I decided to switch this time and try centering it through Mojave, and I found that that was much easier to handle from a switching standpoint. That's where I could get invested in it. That's where I can get know that personally, if worse came to worse, I could feel comfortable enough to continue running sessions at a reasonable pace. So I ran 24 hours before I put the server up on Sunday. So I ran a full 24 hours, or close enough to it. I don't know if I actually ran a full 24. Actually, I'm coming up to a 24-hour on Wednesday. The end of that session will be the 24th hour, because I believe I started at 0400 when I first ran the Mojave Flyer. So the Mojave Flyer, if the AI system doesn't call it in, and no, I will not spawn it in manually until it does, because it's technically, I wanted it scheduled for 0400 so that it could come in the early morning hours, set off all its cars at Mojave, and run back and basically take the loads. Now, of course, this time there's still not going to be any cars for it, so it's going to run light power back towards West Colton. So the idea there is it comes into Mojave, drops all its cars, and the two sets of switchers go in, do its thing, and switch the industries. All the industries right now in Mojave are set up the way I want them for now. They're not perfect. All the trains are set up. There's a lot of improvements that I have to do. I still haven't got to it. I'm not worried about it. It's not taking away from the enjoyment of dispatching. It's not taking away, it's really not that consequential right now. So I'm not worried about that. It's not distracting for me. It's not overwhelming. Everything's at a very comfortable pace right now. So I can feel free. If I'm the only one that comes on tomorrow night, that's fine, because then I could either dispatch if I really want to make it comfortable and just rail fan, which would be kind of boring. But more than likely, I would run a train or something up the hill while I dispatch or something like that. And well, who knows? It's hard to say what I want. That was the plan for me tomorrow night, was if somebody else was dispatching or interested, and I don't know yet, but if somebody does dispatch who is interested in Sunday, who wants to dispatch Wednesday, by all means sign up on Run 8 servers as a dispatcher. If you can run the full 4 hours, the board is yours. I'll make sure that you have dispatcher authority. Then the board becomes yours, and I will run a train out of Bakersfield, run it up the hill. I've got some stuff I want to change around here anyways. I want to, there's furniture and stuff like that I want to move. So it's a perfect job for me to do that, because I can pay attention to the big screen, the signals, and all this. And this is the kind of thing that I wanted to do. Florida, as much as I loved Florida, and I and I really regret having to give that one up. Having to honk at all those freaking crossings, and not, you have to really pay attention to, you're going fast speeds. You really have to pay attention to what you're doing in Florida. And it's very easy to get distracted, especially when you're dispatching yourself, which is what would happen in a single player situation. And, we saw what happened when it's very easy for somebody to get distracted. And, Sunday night, I should say, was a classic example of probably somebody got distracted and missed a couple signals. And then, I haven't reviewed the footage, but I, as far as I know, the signals should have shown stop, but they didn't. But anyways, it's no big deal. I thought it was kind of funny, actually. And I realized some people took it the wrong way or took it like it was just like, oh, it was just embarrassing. I suppose, whatever. Um, but you know, I know Scott when he was basically at the end of his run anyway, so he didn't care. He was just ready to run the next one. Um, so yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's a simulation, and the good part about it is we don't have that many cars running. And even if we did, say if it was, one of the trains or whatever, we could easily just spawn another one because we're not running that high capacity stuff. And if we are, then we just save the stuff ahead of time. um, have people save their trains ahead of time or whatever as a backup, just in case things like that do happen. Because even when there's not human error, there can be issues with the program. Although I think most of them have been resolved in the latest update, from what I understand. Um, so that's pretty cool. What are we at? 10:10 Eastern now. Uh, so so I said moving forward, what's on tap, and I don't want to drag this out too much longer. Um, because there's really not much more else to say on that topic. Um, where I would go from there, let's just say we get enough people, Bakersfield comes into play. We still don't need more than one dispatcher. Uh, if there's enough interest there, we could be able to switch. Now, if Cajon sub comes into play, that's when not really necessarily getting up to West Colton is probably not going to be a big deal. So I can easily extend to Cajon. But it's kind of a weird dispatch board. And I think external dispatcher does it a little bit better because it actually displays, if I recall correctly, it actually displays the UP side correctly so that you can see the entire UP schematic as opposed to the BNSF, and it also shows the actual intermediate blocks properly. I've heard stuff about TSCAD. I was reading a forum post today. Real life came in, I can relate to that. It's happened to me where I've had plans. Things happen. I was mentioning about version 3, and this is the other thing, and I kind of got sidetracked on that. Now, version 3 is coming, possibly by the end of the year. There's a lot of consideration that I would put into play. The decision I made was not to update the RTS software. Ski seemed like he was not interested in doing it either, and I don't blame him. And he was busy anyways, and myself, I was distracted and not really interested. If version 3 came out by the end of the year, our efforts in version 2, a couple things could happen. Number one, it would require a change. It could stay the same, which would have been fine. It could change yet again, which would require more modification of the program for a version 3 of RTS, or it could become obsolete, where basically, okay, well, we're not going to keep those XML files open because we're just going to lock all the files. The reason why that was open was because of RTS, so I heard. That's what they said. Unfortunately, I've never taken advantage of that. And it wasn't because of anything Run 8 did, per se. This is just how things happened. When the AIs started spawning themselves, because they started spawning themselves their own way and the way they like to do it, that really made it almost difficult for me. It became too tedious. It took away from the way the car forwarding system was set up with version 2 took away a lot of the tedious tasks that an admin had in the former RTS version 1 system. So we didn't have to go tagging cars. We didn't have to go playing around loads and empties at industries. We didn't have to find empties in a yard and stuff like that. Unfortunately, we lost the complexity. So it became a little bit more simplistic. There's been several updates since then for Run 8 that has allowed more routing possibilities, which actually has made this Mojave subside much more feasible, and why I gave it a second look to begin with. Because now, I think before what happened was all the trains had, basically it was all or nothing. You didn't have the filters. Well, now you have the filters. The filters are the key ingredient to make it all possible now. Unfortunately, you're still stuck with the average 4,000 to 6,000 side inbound. You're still stuck with the gumball AI selector, what I like to call, or the bingo ball caller or whatever, where just basically, well, it's not a bingo. It's a bingo balls. Bingo. You know how you to pick the number. Well, they take the number out and they put it in the slot. You don't take it again. The way this bingo ball works is it finds a number between 1 and whatever, takes it, says throws it, and just tosses it back in. And the thing's not really random to begin with. It's really screwed up, to say the least. But I'm not a big fan of it. But supposedly there's a schedule system coming. Is that going to come in an update this year? Maybe. Do we know anything of what's happening other than LA's getting closer? I don't know. I mean, I'm no longer on Facebook, and I'm getting updates about TSCAT that are being shown on Facebook pages. They're not even being posted on forums anymore. In fact, certain forums, unless you're part of a special forum, not the general forum, but you're part of a special, more private forum, you're not getting any feedback whatsoever from anybody. You're not getting the inside scoop. And that's the direction I don't like that's happening. It's some of that exclusiveness that once a lot of people pointed to me saying, well, yeah, you're exclusive, you're a private, you're this, you're that. Well, yeah, no, I'm not. I've gone the exact opposite. Yes, I had membership. Yes, I had tried to have controls in place, but I also wasn't the official place to get all the information from the developers. I was just one of the many that was out there. I just happened to be the first. It's no big deal. I can't say I've the longest running because I stopped running. I just kept on keeping the name. I kept keeping things alive to some extent and development. But here I am. I'm back trying to make a go of this for now, just to keep the hobby going. But I still have aspirations. I haven't stopped making aspirations for doing another simulator or doing another project. The problem is it's going to take a lot of knowledge, and it's going to take a lot of knowledge, a lot of education, a lot of patience, a lot of going into. It's going to be time consuming. If I could plug a chip into me and get all the knowledge I need to do it, that would be great. But I can't. And I'm not getting any younger, and I still work a day job, and I'm not giving that up. So, I mean, really, at this point, I don't know where that's going to go, but I don't think any of that's going to be pushed forward this year. Right now, the plan is to continue doing what I'm doing on Sundays and Wednesdays for at least the foreseeable future of version 2, and then see what happens. Let's see it ride. Let's see how it goes. As long as I continue to be happy. I don't know. I mean, the YouTube channel seems to like the Run 8 stuff. They don't like the other stuff. Unfortunately, I don't want to just do Run 8 all the time. So I'm just going to do it on Sundays and Wednesdays, and spend a Tuesday night 39 minutes and 45 seconds into this live stream now. Me just yapping or trying to yap over dogs, which have been quiet for quite some time, so I can actually have some straight thought, which is good. Uh, but then I ramble anyway, so who cares, right? Maybe it's better that dogs are barking because I stop rambling. Uh, I won't get this too much longer, maybe another 10 minutes. So, what else was I thinking along this? So, as I was saying, version 3, if version 3 comes out, and we're only talking, um, we're talking what, possibly 9 months away. It would have made any effort that I made into putting an RTS version 2 possibly obsolete within a matter of months. For me, I may not buy version 3. I bought into version 2. I like version 2. I want to support the guys, but I'm not obligated to purchase anything. I've not purchased Seligman, for example. I have no need for it. I don't need more roots. I don't, and I want to support the guys. I really do. If there's certain rolling stock or something out. Also, money's tight. Um, there's there's a lot of things. Like I said, as far as direction, yeah, support's great and all, and they're not obligated to give updates either. By no means are they obligated to give any updates. Um, but as far as the direction, I still am concerned about it. Um, I don't know what the competition supposedly is. Am I supposedly the competition? Just because I have ideas? I haven't even put anything into code yet. I know there's other people talking about ideas that they have for a simulator. They posted on Train Sim. We've actually seen some working so-called physics. We've seen Train Sim World, which was a complete um, I don't know what Train Sim World. Train Sim World looked like just a nice, pretty eye candy thing, and maybe I'll just focus on what I'm good at, and that's just my functional things. I heard Scott was saying the other night that in the chat there, he was saying that freight yard managers under new management, which is interesting. I don't know too much about it, but freight yard manager, I have always said to this day that I'm aware of, although I don't know what's going on with the original program, which I can't think of, for like yard duty or whatever the hell it was, which got retaken over. So you had yard duty, freight yard manager replaced it, and then yard duty was reprogrammed to come back. But whatever it is the best railroad simulator out there. There's no eye candy. It's on 2D. It's basically trains that run in 2D worlds on maps. It is the best railroad simulator out there. And sorry, honeybee, I'm sorry to upset you. So that is the best railroad simulator out there. Now, Run 8 is the best train simulator. Train Sim World is the best eye candy. I mean, Train Sim World looked fabulous. I wanted Train Sim World to succeed. Yeah. Why am I up? So I see Honeybee here. You're upsetting me. Why am I upsetting you, Honeybee? How can I upset you if I've upset you? I don't even know who Honeybee is. Must be one of Bill's friends. I don't know who that is. What, we got 6 people on? Never heard of Honeybee before. Then again, I made this thing public, so whatever. Okay. Well, go away. Bye-bye, Honeybee. I feel left out. Okay. Oh. Oh, what is it? Wow. Okay. Okay, so I've hidden Honeybee because Honeybee feels left out or something. I guess we got the trolls now. So Honeybee, I got this little message here. I was just like, first I had the message, and then I was just like, oh, okay, well, I feel left out. I'm a troll. Yeah. Anyways, what was I saying? See, that's what I don't like about chat and all this other garbage. It's like, so I don't know what you're talking about. I feel left out. Just somebody likes a troll. Not very good at it either. So yeah, so Train Sim World had all the potential to be something big, and the thing with Train Sim World was CX. Hello, CSX 2057. Train Sim World had all the potential to be something, uh, and I was pulling for it. I was following it. I wanted it to succeed because there's this void, and I know Run 8's great. I understand that. That's why I'm still running it. That's why I still promote it. That's why I run a server now for it again. Not because I think it's gained in popularity or anything like that, or there's a void. It's just because nothing has unfortunately taken its place or pushed the competition. And when you don't have competition, I think it's very easy to become stagnant. They say they keep things close to their chest. Well, at least that's the words I understood because of competition. Well, who is this competition? Is it Train Sim World? Are you serious? Do you think they're going to actually? I mean, they're not going to. They're not even trying to have accurate physics. They got great eye candy. They can't even have an open world mode in their. If they were able to do an open world and just do what Run 8 could, even if they didn't have the physics down, I would say that was a step in the right direction. But they're not. They're activity driven. I mean, activity driven is boring. It's reading a story. So it's it's just one of those things. And but where we're at right now, again, everything is too secretive. It's too exclusive groups. You have to have you know doesn't have decent horn sounds. I'm not worried about it. I can live with Train Sim World not having decent that, or even if the physics weren't the greatest. There's so much potential. They could have had, so if they took any, even some of what Run 8 had, which I don't even know what that is. I mean, other than getting in the cabs and starting up the engines and a few other things, that's not what makes Run 8. Right, Run 8 is, to me, is the way the save world system works. It's the way multiplayer works. Even if it's single, even if it's not multiplayer, to be able to go into the world. I mean, they got the AI traffic, but that's all scripted, as far as I can tell. I don't know how dynamic it is, but probably isn't. But I think of it, apparently they got I don't know if they have an operating. I think they do have an operating hump too in Train Sim World or something. I don't know how the hell they have it to work, but I don't know. I don't consider them competition. That's just me, but maybe I haven't looked lately at it. But from most of what I've seen, I'm not missing anything. So I kind of stopped following them, and now they're into New York and the next new thing, and they can't even fix the crap they've already put out. So nah, Run 8. The good thing about Run 8 is if issues do come up, they fix them eventually. They'll fix them. Um, sure enough, the issue with the hump. I haven't tested the new fix with the hump. I really haven't played around with a hump ever since. But yeah, trains. I'm just reading in the comments there. Trains I had one time, and it had its okay. Maybe trains is considered competition. I don't think so, but Microsoft Train Simulator or Open Rails. I mean, come on, it's over 12 years technology and still using activity generators, and their multiplayer is wonky. And I mean, I appreciate what Open Rails has done, but there's so many programmers and people involved in it trying to patch up an old system. I mean, it's great. But going back to Freight Yard Manager, I look at Freight Yard Manager and I see how simple it was. So for me, I'm not a graphic artist. And for me personally, if I was to do something, it's not going to be graphic related. It just won't be. I'll get down to the data. I'll get down to basically simulating um, terminals not dispatch, not so much dispatching simulation, although that would be part of it. I think one of the things that I've always been intrigued to try is to actually have a simulation of a yard control system to actually be able to control the car flow, the car control systems. So you have your car control software, you have your layouts of your yards. Everything comes in. It's all data driven. There's no graphics. That's the kind of thing I'm starting to look at now as a possibility because number one, I know I can do it, and it gives me something as a bit of a benefit to try to keep my creative processes going. Because really, right now, what I'm doing is not creative, which is okay because I don't want to be creative right now. I don't feel like being creative. I'm kind of burnt. I was burnt out of trying to be creative before, and I just like, no, I don't want to do that just yet. But come next fall, maybe I will be. Maybe when I can't get outside as much because I've been trying to get away from the computer more and more. Believe it or not, I'm not on Facebook anymore. Uh, last night I was tired, so I started playing video games and Stranded Deep, which well, I just do it for fun. Sometimes I don't even know why I do YouTube. I still don't know. I mean, the only reason why I do YouTube is for you guys, quite frankly. I don't do it for money. I don't do it for much of anything else. My followers are going up, but I don't get any ad revenue. You got to be at least 1,000 subscribers to have ad revenue, anyways. And I stopped that as soon as they put in that policy, and I never received a cent, anyways. So, but yeah, that's my ambitions. But I just want to be upfront that right now I'm content and I'm happy with the way things are going with the RTS side of Run 8 as far as my server continuing to just doing on a limited basis, a Sunday and a Wednesday. I'm open up to expansion. I'm open up to pushing ahead if I see the interest continue to go. So we'll see what happens. That's all I can say about it. And once I feel comfortable taking those baby steps forward, that's when you'll see more territory expand. As I said before, Bakersfield would be the next logical expansion to get the locals going there. We already have Mojave locals covered. Bakersfield would be added in. Uh, then we would work our way towards West Colton. Now, the reason why I want to work my way towards West Colton is I want to do the UP side since I'm already there. Despite the fact that BNSF is there, uh, BNSF is actually the prime focus for the California side. Because of that, it is the biggest one. You're dealing with tremendous territory with Needles, Seligman, uh, San Bernardino, Cajon, uh, trackage rights through BNSF Bakersfield all the way through on UP trackage rights up to their own line, back to their own line, BNSF Junction to Barstow. Plus, the Barstow hump is a huge facility for even though and really that facility doesn't cut it as far as I'm concerned. If you want to look at a hump facility that cuts it, you got to go to Waycross. The way the yard is set up for Waycross is accurate. I really wanted to do Waycross. I can't tell you how much I wanted to do Waycross. And now that they fixed the hump, I kind of like, oh man, I would have loved to get myself. And you know, honestly, there's still a side of me that almost wants to try it again and do California too. But right now, I'm happy enough to just keep it simple, go with what I got. Let me see here. I'm just reading some more of the comments here. Oh, cool. I appreciate you guys saying that. That's awesome. Uh, wow. You know, the funny thing with me is I can't sit and watch videos this long, like 55 minutes or whatever. I end up falling asleep watching videos. I'm sure I put a lot of people to sleep. I had somebody on here earlier that was, you know, just trolling me or whatever, but it's hard for me to do videos this long, knowing that personally, I can't get into videos that long without falling asleep. Um, oh, good, great, Tim. I'm glad you liked it. And as I was saying before, basically sign up again on the Runite server site. Just let me know. Everybody, let me know their interests if you're interested in the session for tomorrow night. And well, I'm willing to let somebody else dispatch if they're interested. I forget who was interested. Somebody was interested in dispatching the other night. Of course, there can only be one, so I would say first come, first serve. But again, I don't want the first come, first serve policy. I don't want to. I don't want to start that. I don't want to have people who you know have their favorites and constantly expect it. Or specializations. I mean, we used to have specializations in the old California server, and that worked good. But that's because we had a lot of people, and having specialization uh, worked a lot better. But we had a group of admins that were basically overseeing and having people who wanted to help, and they would come up. So it was kind of like a hierarchy system. This it wouldn't work that way, at least not right now. Uh, so yeah, no, yeah, Tim, you did great. That was fine. You know, broken coupler, no big deal. Done it a million times on that hill. And the AI trains that come, you're going to get a situation eventually, and unfortunately, I got a funny feeling. I'm not positive on this. I haven't seen them spawn yet, but there's a possibility that if 4 units get spawned on an AI train heading up to Tehachapi and it's too heavy, it's going to cause a lot of problems because you can only have, technically, you should only have 3 engines on the front end. If you have four, I find you break couplers very easily. Um, yep. Yeah, I will be streaming all sessions moving forward live as far as I'm concerned. I have no reason. I have plenty of bandwidth. I don't mind doing it. Um, there's no reason. I mean, if I had a bandwidth issue, I wouldn't do it. And for at least for now, I have no issues continuing to have internet. So um, who knows what's going to happen down the road? But yeah. So yeah, things will be fine with that. But as I was saying, as far as moving forward, I've mentioned Bakersfield. I mentioned expanding Cajon. Of course, I said I wasn't going to buy Seligman. I said I'm not going to buy version 3. And I will not buy LA right away, at least not yet. But if we continue to see, if we continue to see a process take place where there's more demand than the supply, as far as especially locals or dispatchers, that's going to be the two ingredients. There'll have to be more dispatchers than what we have, and people rotating. Like for example, say we get an average people, say 3 people who like to dispatch. Well, what'll happen is we'll just take our turns, just like a model railroad club does. So one night I'll dispatch, one night somebody else, player B will dispatch, one night player C will dispatch. The same thing will work with the locals. That's what's going to differentiate from having people. That's why I don't like to put positions out there for bidding on. I would rather assign them and try to do it fairly and arbitrarily. But what'll happen is if we get Bakersfield, it's going to take about, like I said, it's going to take about 3 times the amount of locals to satisfy Bakersfield and SJVR, maybe even 4. It could be a 3-to-1 ratio between Mojave and Bakersfield with SJVR, because I think there was at least 3 good locals coming out of SJVR. So, and that's not talking the BNSF side, because I'm not going to simulate the BNSF side other than the trains that spawn from there and terminate from there. The yard is not going to be used. At least that's the plan. BNSF, I'm basically, the reason why I'm doing UP is because UP again is the smaller section of the California empire that Run 8 is building. If I was to simulate both UP and BNSF, then I would need, in its current form, I would need at least 3 dispatchers and several locals. I would say no more than probably 8 to 12 regular users at the dispatcher and local level, not counting running trains. It's too much just to run all those trains and dispatch them properly. Right now, I can run it on my own. That's good. If I can continue to get people, then that's when I'll expand to Bakersfield. Then I'll work my way down to Cajon and eventually West Colton Hump. Once I've got West Colton Hump active and I feel it's adequate to at least build trains on a regular basis, that's when I will see if there's enough demand, enough sustained demand to purchase LA. Only if, it satisfies us, because I hear there's a lot of industries in LA, but I hear most of them are BNSF. At least that's the rumor I'm hearing. If that's the case, that's perfect, because what that allows us to do is to focus on the UP side and still enjoy it. But it's not going to please everybody, but at least it's going to model the UP side as close to as we can. And everything we're modeling right now, from Bakersfield on down on the UP side up to around Palmdale or Highland or whatever, is somewhat as accurate as we can make it, since we don't have a scheduling system in play yet. So yeah, that's fine. I would try it yourself. If you've never dispatched before, try it yourself. See how you like it. Oh, okay, cool, Timothy. That's good. With the wiki, yeah, that's always good. It's not required, and I don't have membership here anymore. So I try to keep things open up, and as long as I'm here, I mean, if somebody comes in on the chat or whatever, somebody comes in and. I mean, the other night it was kind of comical, like what happened. I hate to bring it up because I know the one person's embarrassed about it, but I found it funny. It was totally accidental. But what happens is I've had people in the past where they just run trains into everything, or just do whatever the hell they want. They don't care about nothing, and those people, then I can basically, as they come in, I'll know who they are, and I can see the IP addresses, and I can just say, okay, well, I'm not letting them in, so they can have all the access they want. They won't be able to do anything. But so yeah, that's the long range plan. Personally, I don't know if I really don't know if I would get LA before 2019. Personally, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Um, I'm certainly that's the one purchase. If there's one purchase I'm gonna wanna make for Run 8, it's LA, but I'm only gonna make it when I'm ready for it, and we're not ready for it just yet. Um, but who knows? That could change, and we'll see how it goes, and if the popularity keeps if it grows, to where it once was, we've had, like, this the problem is we had it's getting late, it's 10:44 already. I'm gonna cut this short very, very quickly, I promise. We had the RTS California section. We had an RTS Florida section. We have also Smiley Server, which goes on and off occasionally or whatever. We've never really been able to get a Northeast server. I tried to get one myself, and yeah, we had a couple people on, but I love that route. It's just unfortunately operational wise, it's not very appealing to me. Um, that's just the way it is. But it's certainly a beautiful route. Florida, Florida is actually very intense. It's very, especially the Sanford sub. And the problem I had with Waycross wasn't the yard itself; it was the fact that when I was running it on my own and trying to run as many trains as I want, I felt like I was stuck in Waycross. And to try to dispatch and hump and do everything, I felt I was going to be constantly stuck humping, and I just didn't want to do that. So that's why the last time it was just like it was almost like, okay, I need to take a step away from Run 8, and that's where I just stopped worrying about Run 8, why I was had my hiatus. Um, but like I said, though, moving forward, it's looking pretty good, at least at this point, that things will continue. Um, I don't see why it would stop, at least for now. But a lot could change, especially with version 3, especially with. But oh, sorry, no, I was telling the story about what had happened before. In version 1, I was going to focus on RTS software. I was going to focus on, I think, focusing on the Northeast, if I recall, before version 2 came out, and to get ready for version 2 to try to prepare for whatever was going to happen, because of course, we never knew what version 2 was going to be other than the screenshots and stuff like that. So I was looking to get rid of the California 24/7 server, and I did. Uh, Mike took that over. Florida server, we already had that as well. Um, so we had two people running a California server that I originally started the 24/7, and then the Florida server. So those 24/7 servers are still running. Um, what happened with version 2, what I found was that the 24/7 didn't appeal to me anymore, because how can you dispatch 100, like back in version 1, you couldn't dispatch one, you could dispatch a scheduled system, but you could also run trains and not worry about dispatching and just go anarchy, as long as you were working on just the locals and the focus was the locals. But version 2, the focus became more of the AI and the dispatching, and I always felt that made it more interesting to run anyways, especially if you were running at 100% capacity. Um, so we actually, in version 2, when things started, we were running some really cool high capacity dispatching on Needle sub and Cajon sub, and we were having. So if you look back at some of the YouTube videos from a little over a year ago, some of the stuff that we were running in California was awesome. We had both humps going. We had we didn't have that many people on, like, no more than a dozen. A lot of times we'd have half a dozen, just like last night. but we were able to continue to run the humps. We were continuing to build the trains. We were continuing to switch them. And we were continuing to have two people dispatching on a regular basis. So there was some really really cool, and it was as close as we could get to a 100 capacity schedule. We worked really hard to get that schedule. What happened though, of course, is we had to run trying to get people's schedule, and then it became more like a job, because then all of a sudden it was, people wanted to run, and we wanted to have as much sessions as possible, especially with California, that I think it became both stressful uh, for Mike and myself. And I was getting stressed out. It felt like a job. I think Mike was getting stressed out, and he started thinking about things, and uh, he had his ideas or whatever. I mean, we have total respect for each other. There's no hard feelings whatsoever. Ditto with Florida. No hard feelings there. I don't run on the servers because I'm not interested in running. I run enough as it is. I don't want to run anymore with Run 8. 2 nights a week is fine for me. I don't want to run any more than that, because I've been doing this for 6 years now. Um, I get my fill with it, for sure. That being said, I'm still looking forward for tomorrow night. Now, will I get burnt out again? Who knows? It's hard to say. But as long as I can keep it somewhat relaxing, provide a service, provide the YouTube, get enough people excited about it, um, and hopefully be able to follow through, and not push myself too hard, because I think I pushed myself too hard too many times, and that's what got me into trouble. So I'm not pushing hard this time. I'm just going to take it easy, slowly introduce things, and if things go great, version 3 is going to be a question mark. When the schedule system goes in is going to be a question mark. What other updates go in? Another question mark. I'll certainly support the software and buy more product or whatever. But I've already bought the software. I think really the focus should be for them to sell more units of the software, get more people into it, and hopefully this channel will do that. I know this myself alone, that I've got a lot of people who have purchased Run 8 because of it. But, am I thanked for that? Probably not. But that's okay. I'm not supposed to be. It's called word of mouth advertising. It works really good. Yeah, pace yourself and have fun. Exactly. And right now I am having fun. It's not too bad. 4 hours on a Sunday and 4 hours on a Wednesday. And if I don't feel like doing it on a Sunday, then I'll take a Sunday off. Um, I really don't want to push myself and give myself 3 days just because I'm off a few extra days and my kid's not around. And maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll run a session. But if it's going to be summer, I'm going to be out and about more than likely. And that's the way I'm looking forward to it. I have no intentions on purchasing Seligman sub. It's too far. It's expanding way too far. Um, I mean, I know some people like to run 800 miles. That's great. If you guys like running it, unfortunately, I don't think you're going to see, a BNSF or Seligman sub anytime soon. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. But a bug or something that was crawling up me. But anyways, so what do I got? Fleas? Felt like there was a bug or something, like a little potato bug, or I don't know what the hell it was. But anyways, yeah. But so yeah, that's it for me. I'm gonna call it for the night then. And thanks for joining me. And yeah, glad you guys like it. Keep on going. We'll live stream. Hopefully I'll be back on at about I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes to 6 if all goes well tomorrow, and I'll have the server up. So If you haven't done already, sign up at Run 8 servers. And yeah, you guys have a good night too. And we will see you tomorrow night. So have a good one. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later. Bye bye.